My wife is addicted to the gym and it's ruining our marriage. My wife, who is 30, has always been keen on staying fit. She used to hit the gym a lot during her college days, but recently I feel like she's taking it to the extreme. Back then, she stopped going to the gym regularly, probably because of her busy schedule. Instead, she opted for home workouts or outdoor runs. Then, about 18 months ago, she decided to rekindle her gym habit. She had more time now with her new job, so it made sense. At first, everything seemed normal, but gradually her gym visits became more frequent. She started signing up for weekend classes, going every single day, and even fitting in sessions before and after work. It's like she's always there. Whenever she's stressed or facing some sort of crisis, off to the gym she goes. Even after an argument, her first instinct is to hit the gym. Now she's 4 months pregnant, and I'm honestly surprised we even found the time to conceive. I get that exercising is safe during pregnancy, especially since she was already into it before. But the intensity hasn't eased up one bit. If she misses a gym session, she gets super cranky like she's craving a fix. It's just odd. Seems like she's overdoing a good thing. Whenever I mention that I'm worried about my wife's intense gym routine, she gets upset. I miss spending time with her because she's always there. It's like she prefers her gym friends over me. I suggested we work out together, but she says the gym is her me time. It's not about me feeling insecure because she's fit and I'm not. I also stay in shape because of my job. I genuinely believe her gym habits are unhealthy. She's overdoing it, and it feels like she's using the gym to avoid dealing with life's problems. Instead of facing issues, she runs off to the gym for a quick mood boost. And because she's there so much, she doesn't get anything else done at home. I end up doing all the chores and cooking. People have noticed too. They've commented on how much time she spends at the gym and how she's changed. Some have even joked that she might be having an affair there. It's worrying. Update 1. I recently talked about my wife's gym obsession. It's like she's drawn to it all the time. She goes there twice a day, and sometimes even 3 if we've had an argument and she needs to blow off steam. She won't let me join her at her gym, and she won't come to mine either. Her gym is hers, mine is mine, end of story. I've asked her to come with me several times, but she always refuses. Now she's 18 weeks pregnant with our first child. She was really into working out before, and she's still going at it just as hard now. At first, I brushed off the idea of her cheating. But after reading some comments on my last post, I started to doubt myself. She usually keeps her phone with her, but one day she left it in the kitchen. I felt stupid, but I couldn't help but peek at her texts. She was chatting with a guy from the gym, the same guy she talks about a lot. They're pretty chummy, even attended a wedding together. I wasn't too worried until I read the messages. Now I know more than I ever wanted to about this guy. She was only gone for a minute or two, so I had to scroll quickly. I was furious when I saw the conversation on her phone. I asked her what the hell was going on. Instead of answering, she started yelling at me for looking at her phone. I told her the gym obsession was bothering me and I needed to check, even though I felt ashamed for doing it. But she just kept saying it was nothing. Didn't look like nothing to me. She seemed pretty interested in this nothing. I wanted to know if she'd been with him. How long had it been going on? She kept denying it. I stormed out of the house, slamming her phone to the ground and breaking it. She called me names and hit me hard on the back before I left. I went to my brother's place. He and his wife were shocked, though my sister-in-law had always been vocal about my wife's gym obsession. When I came back, she was in bed crying. She couldn't call anyone with her phone broken. She laid it on thick, saying she didn't know if I'd come back. Give me a break. Tonight, I took her phone to get it fixed. She doesn't deserve it, but I still feel bad for breaking it. I still don't know the whole story. She won't admit to anything more than what I saw. Was it just sexting or something worse? I'm convinced it was more, but she won't give me her phone. Now she's acting like I'm some kind of monster for breaking it. It wasn't my finest moment, but after she hit me, I wanted to scream. I've never laid a hand on her, and I never would. Update 2. My wife admitted to an affair. Today, my wife asked me to stay home from work so we could talk. She spent all day yesterday in bed, hoping I'd feel sorry for her. But I ignored her and went to my family's Super Bowl party instead. I wasn't really in the mood to go, but I wasn't going to stay home with her either. It really bothered her that I left. She kept texting me, saying things like, "Who just leaves like that?" When something like this is happening, who is so cold and heartless that they just leave for a party. I stayed home today to talk to her. She was in tears, saying she's so sorry. According to her, she was going to the gym twice a day because she enjoys it. It's where her friends are, it makes her feel good, and it's fun for her. She met this guy there and he started flirting with her. Apparently, everyone likes him. He's one of the most popular guys there. I didn't realize gyms had popular people. She admitted that she flirted back, but didn't mean anything by it. At first, she didn't flirt much in return, but he gave her butterflies, and she found herself flirting back without thinking. It felt like having a crush on someone in school when she was younger. They started texting. Initially, it was just friendly and not sexual for several months, but she felt giddy every time she got a message from him. She was really attracted to him, but told him she was married and there could never actually be anything between them. According to her, he kept flirting with her despite her saying they shouldn't cross any lines. But eventually they did. She confessed that she tried to resist it for a while, but one day they ended up kissing. She admitted enjoying it, though feeling guilty. However, that didn't stop her from sleeping with him that same night. She described it like falling in love for the first time. All she could think about was him. Is she really in love with him? She's not sure. As for the baby, she believes it's mine, but there's a small chance it could be his. He always used a condom, so she doubts it's his, but they were together around the time she got pregnant. She loves me, but she can't deny the strong connection between them. She's unsure if she loves him or why she did what she did, and she's lost on what we should do about it. But the final blow was when she asked, "Would you really leave me if it's not your baby?" I was stunned. Of course, I said I would. I couldn't raise another man's child. She seemed surprised, asking if I wouldn't even consider it given our history. But I couldn't. It's not something I could ever do. She agreed to get a DNA test, but she was all tears about it. Like I'm supposed to feel sorry for her. I don't even recognize her anymore. She cried the whole time, but it wasn't the tears of someone who's ashamed or sorry. It was all about her, meant to make me feel guilty. But what am I supposed to feel bad for? That her heart's apparently torn. It's a mess. Update 3. My wife is moving in with her AP. They're in love. My life feels like one of those trashy daytime talk shows now. The woman I once thought of as classy has turned into something else entirely. Today, she dropped a bombshell. She's moving in with her gym fling. And to add to the mess, she's pregnant, and we don't know if it's his or mine. She's too embarrassed to even get a paternity test. For about a week, she tried to get my attention, hoping I'd beg her to stay. But I didn't fall for it. I've been mostly ignoring her, keeping our interactions brief. We're still living together, but I've moved to a different room and we're basically living separate lives. Her attempts to make me jealous by not going to the gym for a few days didn't work. Today, she texted me saying she's moving in with him. Somehow, I still care about her, but I've already seen a lawyer. I can care about her and our potential child without being married to her. Still, it hurt to hear she's leaving. I've tried to warn her it's not a smart move, even suggested she see a lawyer. But she's not interested in anything I have to say. Honestly, I feel sorry for her. She doesn't need to move in with anyone. She should just focus on herself. I asked her if the guy even knew she was pregnant and what story she's been feeding him all this time. She said he knows and he doesn't care whose baby it is. He loves her and wants to be with her. It's bizarre. Can't he find someone else? Someone who isn't already married and pregnant? Why would he take on that kind of baggage? Doesn't make any sense to me. Sure, he might be good looking and have a job and a home, but there have to be other options for him. And what if this baby is mine? Are they going to split their time between my wife and this guy? I never imagined my life would turn into such a mess. And she thinks it's embarrassing to get a blood test? Unbelievable. Update 4. My wife has agreed to a paternity test. My wife moved in with her affair partner last weekend. She didn't take much with her. Most of her stuff is still here. I had this feeling she was waiting for me to beg her to come back, but I didn't reach out to her after she left. It's been a mix of relief, anger, and sadness for me. I couldn't even bring myself to eat until last night. I just didn't feel hungry. I may have had a bit too much to drink, but I'm all right. I'm posting this update because I've been getting a ton of messages from people, and honestly, it's exhausting to respond to each one and repeat the same things. I just don't feel like talking about her that much. This morning, she texted me saying her affair partner wants a DNA test done, so she's going through with it. Funny how it didn't matter when I wanted one, but now that he's requested it, she's all for it. She asked if I wanted to submit a sample too, since it would be cheaper to test both potential fathers at once. I don't even care about the cost anymore. I just want answers. I don't have to see or talk to them. I just need to make an appointment with the lab to get my cheeks swabbed. So this Saturday, I'm doing that, and we should have the results within a week. I'll take whatever resolution I can get at this point because it's better than dragging this out for another 20 weeks. That's where I'm at. I'm okay. I'm going to work every day trying to function, but I feel like I'm stuck in limbo. I miss her. Honestly, it makes me sick to think she's with him. Part of me wants to beg her to come back, but I won't play those games. An update on my wife's affair and pregnancy. My wife has been seeing this guy from the gym for almost a year now. She's about 22 weeks pregnant, and I found out about the affair when she was around 17 weeks along. At first, she insisted I was the father but refused to do a paternity test, which made things even more complicated. Recently, we finally did the test, mainly because her affair partner wanted it. Turns out, the baby is mine. It's been a roller coaster of emotions for me. At first, I just wanted to cut ties completely, but when I got the results, I felt a mix of relief and happiness. I had already mentally prepared myself to be a dad long before I found out about her cheating. But sometimes I just can't believe this is my reality, and I can't help but resent her for it. She's still living with him, and most of her stuff is still here. I'm not going to do the work of packing up her things for her. She doesn't seem too bothered about taking her belongings, just the essentials. After we found out I'm the father, she texted me saying she's glad and that she knows I'll be a great dad. She even started suggesting baby names. She's been trying to call, but I've been ignoring her calls. We only communicate through text. This morning, she asked if she could come by and grab a few things. I told her it's fine, but I made it clear that he better not be with her. Guess who shows up with her? The scumbag boyfriend. He just waltzes into the house like it's no big deal. She dashed upstairs to grab her stuff while he and I were left awkwardly in the living room. He tried to say it wasn't her fault he was there, claiming he forced his way along when she didn't want him to. He said he wanted to talk to me, to let me know he understands how I must be feeling. Like he has a clue. He even had the nerve to tell me he loves her and knew he probably wasn't the father but accepts it. Then he reassured me he won't try to replace me with the baby and hopes we can all get along since we're both going to be in her life now. He promised to take care of her. I couldn't wrap my head around why he'd want a pregnant woman having another man's child. It just seemed off to me. I warned him if he didn't leave, I'd punch him. Upstairs, I found her rifling through things in the bathroom. I was furious and demanded why she brought him along. She claimed he talked her into it and apologized, saying she never meant for any of this to happen, but she's in love with him now. According to her, he's what she's been looking for, not me. She's even setting up a nursery at his place while I do the same at mine, and she has no intention of fighting for full custody. How generous of her. I went back downstairs and he was still there. I couldn't take it anymore, so I walked up to him and punched him. He stumbled back and fell into a table. She yelled, but I didn't care. As if he'd call the cops. He had it coming for not listening when I told him to leave. Several hours later, she texted me, apologizing for the events of the day. She claimed he really meant what he said, that he's a good guy and he respects me. Respect? After what he did? He was sleeping with my wife in the gym locker room. I couldn't believe it. When I called her out on it, she said, "Fine. I'm trying to have a mature conversation here. I can't help that we fell in love. Believe it or not, I'm not trying to hurt you, and I want everything to be amicable." This guy not only stole my wife, but now they're setting up a nursery together in his house. Sure, I might be the biological father, but it still feels like he's stealing my kid too. I've tried not to let jealousy or sadness consume me. I've tried to convince myself that he's just the trash man picking up my garbage. Sometimes I almost believe it. But the truth is, I loved her, and I still do. I don't want to stay married to her out of principle alone, but this whole situation is tearing me apart.